Hello there, parents. My name is Jim Toner, and I am the American Lit Junior Year Teacher of English of your children. And in this little bit of a video, I'll let you know about myself and about the class and how to contact me and all sorts of other goodies in this new realm of Zoom. So my background is I've been a teacher for a long time. I taught high school in San Francisco when I was first a teacher for about 6 years. Then I became then I joined the Peace Corps in Sri Lanka, and I wrote a book about that. And then I became a teacher at a community college called Columbia College in Sonora, and I was there for 25 years. And then I retired and wanted to keep on teaching and wanted to get back to the Bay Area, to this particular area that I love so much. And this is my second year here at Half Moon Bay, and I'm just loving it. And this particular class, the juniors, wow, loving it, just loving this class. So let me tell you about it, and let's see if this works here. Okay, so let me move this over a bit. Um, a good place for you to know what is going on in the class, there's a couple of places. One is Google Classroom. That's where everything is organized and we walk through it in every class. So that and School Loop are the major ones that you want to know about. So on Google, and I'll introduce you to those in this little presentation. So on Google Classroom, you can find this syllabus if you want to know more details about the class itself. And here it is, just basic information, but it tells you that we're reading American Lit this year, and there is an anthology that's really excellent. And in addition to that, there are books that we are reading: The Crucible, the play, and 3 other books that we read, 1 per quarter. And it's all laid out for you here if you want to look at that. So there is the literature component, and there's a lot of writing, and I really put a lot of emphasis in that. The mechanics of writing, as well as the thought processes and how to write more compelling narrative stories. That also I'll say more about later on, but that's a big component of it. And more aspects of the class, the grading and other policies are all here. If you ever want to contact me, as long as we are in this Zoom world, here is the school email. I don't have a phone with school, so the email works and I am very responsive to that. So here is the syllabus if you want to know about it. But I think, let me just walk through what I kind of do in a class. I think that might help you out somewhat to get an idea of the class itself. So what I do is we get onto Zoom twice a week for 50 minutes. And at first I thought, wow, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but somehow it's working. It forces me to be really organized, and the students have been fantastic doing the work outside of class itself. So we get onto Zoom, and then I have a slideshow for them that kind of guides us. And here's one for in a couple of days on Thursday, this is what their class will be. So we start off, take attendance and all that, and go through what the agenda is for the day, lay it out right here. And then I go to some announcements, talk about that for a little bit, and then move into some mechanics. About 5 minutes per day, I try to identify a mechanical problem that is arising in the students' writing. And on Thursday, I'll say something about verb tenses. Now, I have created YouTube tutorials for all of these mechanical things that I am talking to them about, and they have a folder that they can go to on Google Classroom with all of these. And so I'll show you in a bit here, but when I'm grading people's their papers, I will put a link to a video for them to really look at. So I do about 5 minutes on mechanics, and then we do some lesson related to writing. And right now we're working on really emphasizing to look more closely, to use your senses more closely, all 5 of your senses. And so we did something with hippie buses and cowboy trucks. What are the things that show us that's what these vehicles are. What do you see, smell, hear, taste, those sorts of things. So we did something there, and then did another exercise for today that they wrote for today, and that is where I told them that you're walking into a scary room, and let's see, do I have that here? Yeah, and what do you see in there that shows it to be so scary? And I go through all five senses. So we did this last class, and I prepped them for it. And then they write up something that looks like this here. Where would that be? Maybe here? Nope, not there. Hang on. Um, I had everything organized. Nope, I don't have it there. So here it is. Yeah. So they do kind of a sense chart where they come up with the details of the scary place based on all of these senses, and then they put it into a paragraph. Now, I should mention that we're in week 6. I have had them write a lot, 5 large things already, 1 essay and 4 stories that went on for a while. So I kind of started really large, didn't really give them many rules, and now I'm bringing it on down to smaller elements that we're going to work on here. So that was the most recent one, and then what we'll do on Thursday is practice that again with a beach scene. So this is really a great aspect of Zoom, and that is, so here are on my screen 28 human beings, and I can have them still interact with each other through certain features on Zoom, these breakout rooms. Plus, they can write on these slides here. So what I'll have them do the next class is put them into a certain breakout room, and based on that, their group will write what are some really concrete things that you would see on a beach. And then as I'm seeing them write it, I'll come in here and I will ask them some questions like, okay, push the detail. What kind of food is it? What kind of snack is it? What kind of toy? So if they're saying anything too general, I push them a little bit with that. And the same with all of these senses here. And I wanted to point this out to you just to show you how this world is kind of working of technology where we can interact. I can oversee them in these breakout rooms, and I am finding it very, very effective. So I do a lot with writing here, and I want to show you before I move on to the literature component what I kind of do with these things. So they write papers and they submit them to me on Google Classroom, which I should show you here. We kind of walk through Google Classroom. All these things are set up on the day. Here's actually going to be, I don't have that yet. Oh yeah, this is Thursday. This is what we're going to do on Thursday. I'll refine it a bit in the next 2 days. But we walk through all of these things. And here is where they will submit their writing to me. And then I get it. And I just wanted to show you what I do with it. Now, I hope I can find it. Here we go. Okay, the screen isn't the best, but maybe you'll get an idea here. Again, what I want to emphasize is technology is really helping us here. We're able to pull off this education. It's working. So a student submits a paper, and I'm looking for some specific things that we've talked about in class. And actually, 2 things I wanted to point out to you. So I had them write a story based on what we were reading in American literature. The first things we read about were about the slave trade, about the Spaniards coming over and discovering things, about Native Americans, about the English coming over. So after we read those, I said, choose one of those and imagine that you are a character in that slave ship or in that group of Spaniards who first saw the Grand Canyon. So I do that a lot as a way for them to really take some kind of ownership with stuff that could otherwise seem so distant and stale. So here's an example of what they wrote. But what I wanted to show you is I get this, and then I can write comments on this. And here's an example of one. Just want to show you. I can highlight it, put some comments, and here's where I put a link. So like this student needs to work on some formatting things we had looked at in class. So rather than going over it again, I give them a link right here. And so this is what it looks like here. And then I have all kinds of comments here for them to work on and also pump them up. I'm a big cheerleader, but I just wanted to point out to you these things that these links that do take them to further explanation of what it is we're talking about. And then they submit it back to me and go back and forth. So I spend a lot of time on this because I believe in it. You know, I'm here to be of service to these students, and the mechanical things matter as well as this other stuff I'm trying to teach them with senses and be vivid and be concrete, those sorts of things. Okay, so we go back to the literature. Let's see here, and then we go into some literature. So the class is a combination of writing and literature as well as other things. Currently, we're doing The Crucible, this fantastic play that's very relevant to today. And so I have them do some questions that I put on Google Classroom, and they submit them, and it helps us guide our discussion, and it also is moving them to be more analytical in their thinking. And all of this will eventually go towards writing some more formal papers. Um, you know, because I was a teacher in college for so long, I'm very mindful of what skills they need to have in 2 years because those are the people I had. And so the things I teach them are very, very meaningful and appropriate for their education. Okay, so we do all of that. I wanted to just show you one other thing with technology. Whenever I can, I'm trying to connect their lives with the lives of what we're reading and writing, actually what we're reading here. So we started out with reading about America in the beginning, and unless you're Native American, you're an immigrant, and we were reading the stories of immigrants, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the British. They all came over, and so I asked them, I want to hear your immigration story. So they probably asked you, and this is fascinating. I put mine up here as well, right here as a model. My family came from Ireland with and also to put in here, why did your family come here? Mine came because of the potato famine, so it was to survive. And everyone here, you know, wrote down the class was great. Out of 28 students, 27 of them did this. It's pretty amazing. And they told us their stories, and we looked at it and got a sense that we are all immigrants. So the thing we are reading is the thing of their life right now. And that should about do it. So I wanted to give you a taste of the class. Loving these students. This is really, really working. So if you need to get a hold of me, please do. And I hope that things get better in terms of the virus and that eventually our paths will cross and I'll get a chance to meet you. Bye-bye.